It's closer to the bowl game, and right now, so we really felt a lot of the true game plan stuff today. We'll feel some more of that tomorrow, and then really by the time we fly out on Sunday, we've had the prep we need, and then it'll just be fine-tuned some things down there with practices, but like where the guys are at, so excited about it.
I think they were dialed in anyway, but as you get closer to a game, you see guys kind of a sense of urgency pick up a little bit.
Yeah, it's just human nature. I mean, you want to be dialed in 14 days ago, but when you've gone the season and you play every week, with the exception of obviously of a bye week, it's tougher because your body is used to a certain way and that way. So we do feel it now. It's less than a week, and we feel that true game week feel. And but what I like is that the guys did take advantage of those. Prior to game week type practices, we got a lot of developmental reps with the young guys, and that'll pay dividends going forward.
A lot of the first teamers that were doing some conditioning and weight stuff, recovery stuff during that time, do you see a difference in them? Is there quickness return, any health return there?
I definitely did.
Yeah.
I could see it in Beau running. Obviously, Duncan every week he gets to come back after being out for a while. Thinking of the receivers, in that piece, definitely good to see that. And and you see a certain freshness with even some of the guys up front that bang every week. And the season it can be long, so they start to get their bodies back. So it's fun to see that because I know they're excited about it.
What do you see in TCU's defense? I mean, statistically, they're really good.
It's really good.
What sort of things do they do? They blitz a lot?
No, they don't necessarily pressure a lot. That's not their deal. They play really well as an entire team and don't get themselves out of position. So you don't see them. They don't miss a lot of tackles when they're in space. They don't let guys run free. So they don't give up those explosive plays where it's like how did that guy get that wide open, or how did that guy, get that free in the run game? They're very disciplined in that way. They have a couple of edge guys in 15 and 91 that are extremely difficult to deal with, and then it bleeds through their entire defense. So it's obviously well coached. It's been that way for a long time. That's kind of their deal as a team, and with Coach Patterson, so they're going to be strong every year. And in a conference that has a lot of offense, it's pretty impressive what they did through the calendar year.
Can you expand a little bit on their two edge guys?
Yeah, 15 and 91 are just, they've got a little bit of everything. Because sometimes you go, oh, he's a good pass rush guy, but if you run right at him, he'll have trouble, or vice versa. And they've got a little bit of both. So they're very good, but they're versatile in that way. In terms of they're every down type players that can do things well against the run, but turn around on 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, and present good issues, in their pass rush. So they're complete. They have a lot of respect for, how well they play the game, from a well-rounded standpoint.
Do you have to pay more special attention to them?
Not necessarily. You just have to understand. You have to understand in every defense and with what they do, certain things that maybe are going to be favorable for you to run against guys like that. And what's going to put your team in the best chance for success when you're facing certain guys. And then the tackles and the tight ends and those guys that are dealing with those guys, they got to watch. They got to study that film, understand how what they do, what their strengths are, why they're good at it, and be ready to go come Saturday.
Given the amount of time you've had in the bowl game, do you put in a lot of different plays and revamp the offense?
We'll see. I mean, there's certain things you can do a little bit, but I think there's certain levels that you got to be a little careful of that too. That can go a little bit overboard, and then all of a sudden the guys aren't playing fast because they're thinking too much. So it's a fine line, but there'll be a little bit of that, within the game, but we'll have to wait and see.
In general, when you're prepping for a bowl game, how far back do you look at it?
We look at film truly from every game. I mean, we do look at film. Now, most of our breakdown stuff might be later, but we're looking back at everything, all 12 games. Yep. Yeah, so it is something that, you have the whole season to look at. So you definitely know you don't want to, like I said, overcoach it and, overdo it that way. You want to give them, hey, these are what they do. These are what their base stuff is, and this is, how we want to attack it. So a little bit back to early, but probably more, certain things, dealing more with what they've done in the second half of the season.
This may be for something when you get down there, but do you have any idea what the configuration will be at a ballpark turned into a football field? I mean, do you know where the box is, or? No clue. I've seen it on TV, watch those, but I've never played in I shouldn't say never. Portland State kind of had a baseball stadium feel to PG Park, but that was,
the same thing every year where this is, going to be, it's brand new with what they do. One game, I guess, right? They'd be one game a year, in that way. So we'll see. Yeah, it won't. We'll adjust to whatever it is.
When it comes to the health of your offense, have you seen kind of a sprain or step from having as much time off or not time off, but time doing
definitely have. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. You can see some size. I was talking about the receivers. Definitely see some things that way. See it with Pat a little bit. See it with a couple of the tight ends. Just that same level. And then the O line, they just bang so much through the course of a whole year that when you see them have a couple weeks off, they're getting some of their shoulders back. But TCU is too. So you're on evil. It still stays where it's at in terms of that. They're getting the same time off. So, but that's exciting for both sides to feel fresher going into that final game of the year.
Looking at your recruiting class, going into the other signing day in February, what kind of things are you looking for given what you've gotten over these past couple of days?
Yeah, that's more of a little bit of a Coach Wilcox question, in some ways. But realistically, if you look at the numbers, there's not much left, and that's the way we talked about it a couple of years ago when they talked about early signing day. It's not early; it's the signing day, and then you have a bonus late in a way. That's what it becomes. I mean, you look at the percentages of how many kids sign compared to how many kids don't, or programs and how many they have left after. Most of them have signed over 90% of their class. So it's there might be a spot or two, but we'll talk about that more as a staff right up until February.
Do you like what you have, especially with the wide receiver position, kind of immediate contributors?
Very much, yeah, definitely. Whenever you start losing some seniors and losing some guys, and and you only have somebody, you have to fill those holes. You have to fill those spots, and that's every tight end who played this year, with the exception of a little bit of McCallum, is a senior. A couple receivers, seniors. A couple others will be seniors next year. So you have to start. Definitely. Pat Laird's a senior, so it was definitely spots on offense where you needed to definitely add a lot of guys.
Has Garber's really profited from this extra practice, and can you see it growth in him between September and now?
Yep, 100%. 100%. In every way. In every way. Mentally, physically, you can see it. He's ripping the ball more. And sometimes that comes with mentally. I mean, you rip the ball more, you throw with more confidence, you throw into tighter windows when mentally you're in a better spot. So you've seen it all grow during these developmental practices / now bowl practices. So it's great.
How about his decision making? Is that getting better too?
Yeah, and I think he's been pretty solid with that all year. When you really look at some of the things from completion percentage, touchdown to interception ratio, he's been strong with a lot of his decision making. I think the next steps for him are just that level of understanding. Yeah, that's open, and I'm going to make that throw. That's open, and I'm going to make that throw. And you're seeing it more in practice, so it's exciting.
As far as the transfers at the running back position, was that something that was more or less expected, or what's the general process?
You never know. I mean, like I said, you don't know. No, I wouldn't say everything's expected. It's just when it happens, you wish them luck and you move on. And that's how it goes. So it's I stay excited. I stay excited about the guys that want to be here. I stay excited about the commits that come here, and I don't worry about stressing about anyone who doesn't want to be here. Let them and just put all their energy into the ones that do. So that's where we're at.
Were you lobbying for a linebacker option pass after he drilled the target there?
Weaver probably could pull it off, man. I wouldn't put anything past him. So yeah, he'd probably find a way to get it done if we called one, for sure.
All right, you guys.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
That's all on Banner.